Don't give me no BS story talking about y'all didn't do nothing. I'm not that type of person, because the last time I checked, you sat there and built an entire country off of our backs. A country that was ours before it was ever yours. You sat over here and came and stole our land. You talking about the ancestors of mine that sat there and went through the slavery times. The ones that you would use as a house slave. Sit there and have them nourish and sucking from my...
Just a reminder to my fellow white people, you are not an ally if black men and black women are telling you that they are not going to protest on April 5th because it will put their lives in harm's way, and you throw a tantrum. Saying, oh, we all have to work together. Shouldn't we all come together, we the people? Don't you care about the future, about the...
Talk to the 92% and the 92% only. I hope and pray that you are still standing down. I know every day is a breaking news story, a breaking news situation, all the things. But please understand, while we can have compassion for people that are effing around and finding out, we can also...
People are trying to figure out how and why black people have collectively withdrawn from this country, essentially.
So it's clear that we are watching the fall of the American empire in real time. And there is a stark difference in the way that the white community is responding and how the black community is responding.
So since this seems to be a topic of conversation on TikTok right now about how black Americans are choosing to opt out of being on the front lines against everything that's going on with this stuff that's outside, that starts with I, white and non-white people alike have felt comfortable coming to the internet to say that black people should not be sitting out of it on this one.
And we talk, let me tell you something. As a journalist that is no longer in a traditional newsroom at the moment, when I tell you black Americans, the descendants of the enslaved, push the culture, that is what I'm talking about. That entity that currently occupies the White House, when I tell you...
Black Americans' next decision has left white Americans worried and panicking. I mean, imagine spending generations, for decades, fighting for a country, showing up, protesting, voting, organizing, and demanding justice. Not justice for only the black community, but justice that can extend to Asians, that can extend to, Latino communities. And then one day you simply decide, you know what, guys, we are done carrying everybody else's fight. Now, that is exactly why some people are paying very close attention to what black Americans may be doing next. You see, instead of rushing to the front lines again, protesting, many are choosing peace. Many are choosing, safety. They are choosing to focus on their community as black community and economic survival. But here's where things get to be so interesting. What happens when the people America has always expected to show up decided to, step back and say, no, not again with us? I mean, could this decision really be leaving white America worried and panicking? Let's talk about it. What exactly is happening? Let's watch, and I'll come later for more commentaries. If you are new to the channel, give it a like, subscribe. Otherwise, let's watch. I'll come later.
So white folks, why don't we want to know black history? Are we afraid? Are the powers to be afraid that if we really learned to appreciate the history of black culture in this country, we would see an example of love, an example of excellence, and an example of humanity that we could actually learn from, that we would benefit from, because we don't have enough of that in our culture. Is that what we're afraid of? Are we afraid of losing our positioning in a culture that's more so about winning and positioning than about life and enjoying life? And that's the concern with missing out on Black History Month. Race for What, thanks to the idea of Maka Taylor, is interested in also seeing February as Black Future February. But we have to understand that history. We have to understand why we should appreciate these people that have done nothing to harm us, no matter how much harm we have done to them, and how we can learn from them how to be the best version of ourselves. So while this world is crumbling around us, as white people are scrambling around during this time, trying to figure out what should I stand for, How about stand back, learn some Black history, and appreciate and invest in Black future for February? Thank you. Race for what?
Don't give me no BS story talking about y'all didn't do nothing. I'm not that type of person, because the last time I checked, you sat there and built an entire country off of our backs. A country that was ours before it was ever yours. You sat over here and came and stole our land. You talking about the ancestors of mine that sat there and went through the slavery times. The ones that you would use as a house slave. Sit there and have them nourished and sucking from my bosom. At the same token, I was beat. I was spit on. I was degraded. I was deemed as unhumane for the things that you sent me through just because I wanted to learn the American literacy. The dream that we all sit here fighting for in 2026 for every child to have equal rights inside of a school system. You talking about the ones where I pay tuition for my child to go to school at, and I'm still deemed as not enough. You talking about the ones where certain curriculums you leave out on my child. No learning how to balance a checkbook. No learning how to be an entrepreneur. No learning how to build your American dream up or whatever it is. Instead, you turned us into a corporate businessman. I sit here and work my ass off to the bone to get a college degree, and it still ain't enough, and I'm still deemed as overqualified on a job application. Dear white people, what have we done to you? Don't give me no BS story talking about y'all ain't did nothing. You sat there and went inside of a house and killed my African-American auntie, my sister, my mother, over boiling hot water. And in the meantime, you sitting there walking close to her, and she sits there and say, the blood of Jesus. Apparently, the same man that you sit here claiming you worship, you adore, you identify, you love so much. You talking about the one whose hair is like wool, eyes like fire. It still wasn't enough. So, dear white people, what have we done to you? You talking about the one with Carmelo Anthony? He sat there and defended himself against Caucasian bullies who wasn't even supposed to be at a track meet. You sat there and tampered with me. You tarried with me. But because also you sat there and painted him as a murderer inside of news media, you forgot the fact that he also sat there and saved a Caucasian baby from drowning. Dear white people, what have we done to you? You talking about Nolan, who went out on the lake with Caucasian friends and never came home, but a phone came home. No explanation. You want to give this sad, sob-ass story as a judge. Dear white people, what have we done to you? Trayvon Martin walking with a pack of Skittles and an Arizona tea, deemed as a threat with a hood on. Dear white people, what have we done to you? We're fighting. We're not against you. But for some reason, it still ain't enough. My mom taught me that type of tactic, but you still sitting there with your asinine ass, ain't got the audacity to sit there and do your research and see we was never the problem, but now you sitting here stealing my culture, calling it your culture. You never knew anything about a cornroll until we sat there and was fine.
Just a reminder to my fellow white people, you are not an ally if black men and black women are telling you that they are not going to protest on April 5th because it will put their lives in harm's way and you throw a tantrum. Saying, oh, we all have to work together. Shouldn't we all come together? We the people. Don't you care about the future, about the children, about the time to come together was at the election. We failed them. So now their rest is their resistance, and they are staying home and staying safe as they should because their lives are too precious to put on the line. And what would cost me and people who look like me getting yelled at or at the worst tear gas, which isn't likely, would cost them their physical lives. And they've already been giving those lives for centuries in this country for all the rights that we enjoy. So it is our turn to step up and to speak up. And honestly, if you're telling them that they should go to that protest, you're an op and not an ally.
Talk to the 92% and the 92% only. I hope and pray that you are still standing down. I know every day is a breaking news story, a breaking news situation, all the things. But please understand, while we can have compassion for people that are effing around and finding out, we can also hold them accountable and have those uncomfortable conversations. Because what I have learned in my rest era so far is when people are finding out after they done effed around, they still don't hold themselves accountable for seeing themselves for who they are when they went into the voting booth, okay? All was fair in love and war when the harm and hurt was going to another group. But since the harm and hurt is coming to you, all of a sudden you want empathy, you want sympathy, you want people to feel sorry for you and rally behind you and build community. I think that is harmful and that is hurtful, and we won't ever get anywhere with that. Like, there has to be accountability, or the conversation is a non-starter, right? So while you are in your rest era, while you are seeing these videos of these people on here talking about they're finding out after they didn't effed around, like, just remember, unless there is some accountability held across the board where they can say, you know what, I let my prejudice, I let my racism, I let my misogyny, like, get in the way and cloud my judgment over a Black woman that was highly qualified for the job and that had a plan and not concepts of one, and voted the other way, the conversation is dead in the water. And as we see this administration continue to do what it's doing, it is reinforcing what the 92% and the 80% also knew. You know what I'm saying? So until we're ready to have those conversations, let these people keep finding out. Like, God bless.
People are trying to figure out how and why Black people have collectively withdrawn from this country, essentially.
So it's clear that we are watching the fall of the American empire in real time. And there is a stark difference in the way that the white community is responding and how the Black community is responding. The Black community en masse has completely withdrawn.
And it's clear to me that a lot of y'all have never been in a toxic relationship. And unfortunately, I have. But let me tell you how this goes. In a toxic relationship, you usually have one person who isn't shit, right? It's usually the man. And the man is, emotionally abusive. He is a cheater. He's a liar. He's a manipulator. He gaslights. He's narcissistic. But he also has a lot of potential, right? He also can be very loving. He also promises things to come in the future, right? He also can be very exciting at times. And those things keep the woman around. But when things are bad, shit goes up, right? Windows get broken, cars get scratched up, TVs get shattered, broken glass everywhere. Just a lot of chaos in these situations at times, right? And this goes on. These ebbs and flows, these ups and downs go on for years sometimes. But at some point, the abused party in his relationship just completely wakes up and decides that he or she is over it, right? And when that happens, there is no blow up. There is no broken windows. There is no shattered windshields. There is no scratched up cars. There's just calm, right? There's folded clothes. There's neatly packed possessions. And that person decides to go on about their business. And that's where Black people are with this country at this point, right? Like, we're just sick of y'all shit. And we're not going to protest. We're not rioting. We're not doing none of that shit. You know what I mean? Most of us are just simply withdrawing, going on about our business and surviving like we know how to, like we have always done since this country, since before this country was founded.
So since this seems to be a topic of conversation on TikTok right now about how Black Americans are choosing to opt out of being on the front lines against everything that's going on with this stuff that's outside that starts with I, white and non-white people alike have felt comfortable coming to the internet to say that Black people should not be sitting out of it on this one. And I want you guys to really think about what you're saying, because Black people have never had the option to opt out, and they are not really opting out now. They're just choosing not to be on the front lines because when they're on the front lines, only more brutality comes after that, and people die and nothing changes, and they've been fighting forever. If you really fucking think about it, Black people have never stopped being a target. Just because other people are targets now does not mean that Black people are still not a target. Do you know what I mean? Don't you think if they could sit this out, that they would sit out police brutality too? Also, they have, like I said earlier, they've been fighting this fight for a long time. And guess who didn't care? Guess who said maybe you should follow the law, maybe you should be a criminal, maybe you should XYZ, finding every excuse in the book to justify the killings of innocent Black people all over. So yeah, that's really rich. That's really rich for you guys to be telling black people that they need to be up and fighting. They have been fighting. They fight every single day of their lives. When they go outside, there is no guarantee that they are going to be safe from police brutality or just any type of brutality from the government, like the prison system, like the judicial system, etc. These are all things that they cannot opt out of.
Can we talk? Let me tell you something. As a journalist that is no longer in a traditional newsroom at the moment, when I tell you black Americans, the descendants of the enslaved, push the culture, that is what I'm talking about. That entity that currently occupies the White House, when I tell you that he is not happy with the fact that we have sat this one out, when I tell you that other subgroups are not happy that we have sat out and are scratching their head and wondering why we ain't nowhere to be found, despite being the highest unemployment rate group, despite quite literally being hunted in this country. Despite it all, somehow we are still finding a way. Somehow we are still finding our joy. We are still making a way. We are still in community with one another and building. I refuse moving forward, going forward, arguing with anybody about the black American experience. I am no longer arguing with nobody. Nuh-uh. You are not cut from the same cloth, and you cannot compete where you cannot compare. I will not be explaining that any further. The mere fact that we collectively in November of 2024, altogether the majority of us, 98%, dare I say, decided that we are not going to do this. We're going to sit this one out. Y'all got it. And we are in lockstep. I hope you understand our power at this point. I hope you understand just how powerful we are when we are in lockstep with each other. Our ancestors are proud. They are very proud, but there's still work to do. While everybody is trying to spin the narrative and trying to get us up out of our rest, we got to remember not to let them. Mind your business, make your money, save your money, build your community, and go on about your business. Because as you can see, when you think the harm is going to come to somebody else, you find it on your doorstep. And maybe now, because we're going to continue to rest, we cannot let up. We cannot let up by any means. Maybe, just maybe, other groups will fall in line and figure it out and understand that we are better together than apart. Okay? But it starts with us, because clearly they wanted us in the streets. Clearly they wanted us up in arms because Kamala D. Harris, Madam Vice President, Attorney General Harris was not elected. The mere fact that we are still showing up and showing out, that got people mad, got people rocked, got people wondering what in the heck. It's gonna get worse. But as I've said several times, you cannot think my house is going to be on fire and yours isn't going to catch on fire, because we are too mixed up now. Our kids are too mixed up. We are too mixed up in our workplace, in our workspaces, in our neighborhoods. So the quicker people get on some get right and start putting into some action, because that's what it's going to take at this point. It's going to take action. And the action cannot come from us first. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But yeah, no. Black Americans, the descendants of the enslaved, please continue to rest and just find your joy where you can.
I don't have to look it up because it's bullshit. Where are you getting this information? whitesarethesuperiorrace.com? And then you wonder why no one listens to you people anymore. No one cares about what white men say anymore. You have been on top for thousands of years. You have been getting your way for thousands of years. It cannot be about you for 5 seconds and you won't die, I promise you. DEI is not a bad thing. It never has been. Equality has never been a bad thing, and it only threatens racists. If you're not a racist, why are you so offended?
Welcome back. Now, after watching everything all the way to the end, I think there is one, if not two things that are impossible to ignore, that are not easy to dismiss. I think Black Americans may be approaching, a completely different chapter. Like the Black Americans of 2026 are not of those in 1990s. And that is exactly why this decision by black people is making more people to be worried, to be like, what exactly is happening? You see, for generations, there has been an expectation that whenever America faces a crisis, has a crisis, black Americans will be somewhere on the front, will come and, protest, will come and demand justice, while everybody else watches to get the benefits of black people's sweat, black people's hard work, black people's demand for justice. But now, what happens when that expectation suddenly disappears because black people are no longer showing up as they used to? Now, I came across, some key messages that are worth, discussing in this video. But before we get to that, if you may find value in the video, please give it a like. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Now, the first key message is about stepping back and choosing self-preservation. Let's talk about it. You see, sometimes people reach a point where continuing to fight every single battle becomes so exhausting, becomes like, no, it's not worth it, okay? It's not really worth it. And choosing peace does not always mean weakness. It's not that black people are becoming weak, not necessarily. You see, sometimes it means recognizing that your energy, I think, is valuable. Your energy shouldn't be wasted on anything else. Your energy shouldn't be used for somebody's gain. So your value is something that you should always know, and your family something you should know, and know that my family is valuable and my future is valuable. So instead of constantly reacting to every crisis, fighting for people who in the end will not even respect you back, will not even appreciate, I think the focus may become protecting what matters most, instead of wasting my energy on fighting for freedom that other people will even benefit, but they will never say thank you. They will continue to disrespect me. It's like they're just using me as a tool for their freedom. So that's what black people are like. No, I think enough is enough. Now, secondly, the next message is about accountability. You see, for a long time, many people have expected black Americans to show up whenever the country needed resistance, whenever the country needed some sort of, justice. But the question is, where was that same urgency when the black communities were raising their own concerns? Yes, if black people have been fighting for freedom, other people benefits. And when it's the turn of black people, what do other people do? They just let black people fight for themselves. But when it's their turn, they need black people to intervene. Solidarity cannot only appear when one group needs help, and when the other needs help, nobody comes. Real solidarity means showing up before the fire reaches your own house. Because sometimes you may wait for the fire. You may let fire consume your neighbor's house, and maybe you say, it's none of my business, I'm okay here. You never know. That fire is coming somewhere else and is keeping moving, is coming to you. So it'll be tough when it comes to you. And that is the conversation America, I think, must have every other day. Thirdly, this is about understanding the power of withdrawal. You see, sometimes the loudest message is not shouting. It's not like going to the street, protesting, burning tires, we don't need this, we are tired of this. Sometimes the loudest voice is silence. Sometimes the biggest statement is simply refusing to continue doing what everyone expects you to do. Like, black people have been doing this. Black people always do this. So when people stop automatically giving their time, giving their energy, their labor, their culture and emotional strength, others begin to notice just how much they were contributing. Remember, sometimes you never know how important somebody was until they leave you, okay? You never know how important they are until they leave you. You never know how important your job is until they dismiss you. You never know how important your wife, how important your husband is until they leave you. And then you see that all the battles that these ones were fighting while they were with you, you are now the ones fighting. So it's where you realize. And now that realization can make people to feel uncomfortable, to be in panic mode. Because when you do not always understand the value of something until it is no longer available, I think, yeah, you realize it, but in a hard way. Fourthly, the focus is shifting towards, building instead of constantly battling. Imagine putting more energy into business, putting more energy into education, into savings, into families, into black communities and opportunities for the next generation of black people. I mean, what could happen if more people decided that building something lasting was more important than constantly responding to chaos, constantly fighting for other communities that will not even respect you back? So that does not mean ignoring injustice. They're not trying to mean that. But it can mean becoming more strategic about where your energy goes, where your time goes, where your resources goes, where, your capabilities go. It's just about that. Not every fight deserves your body. Not every fight deserves black people going to fight for them. Not every argument deserves peace. And not every crisis automatically becomes, black people's responsibility. And finally, the fifth key message is about the future. You see, black America's next decision may not simply be about protests or maybe, politics or maybe like controversy or maybe fighting back. It may not be like that. I think it could be about priorities. It could be about deciding who deserves access to their energy, access to their time, who deserves their support, who deserves their, their capabilities, who deserves their black power, who deserves their black dollar, where the resources should go. And honestly, that is where things could become very interesting. Because when a community begins moving with a greater intention, people who once took that community for granted, who looked at the black community and maybe look like it's a community of stupid people, may suddenly start paying attention, may suddenly become, in panic mode, because, they will realize that, okay, black people have been helping us. Now, whether everyone will agree with this decision or will not agree, but one thing I think is clear: nobody should automatically expect the black Americans to keep sacrificing themselves for every battle while their own concerns are ignored. The days of assuming that they will always show up, they will always protest, they will always, organize, always rescue other communities, like other communities, Asians, Latinos, and the other Indians community, always carry the immoral responsibility, could be changing. It's no longer that. This is 2026, and maybe that is what has some people to be in panic mode to see this thing and pay attention. Because imagine waking up and realizing that the people you always expected to lead the fight have decided to focus on themselves. No panic. They're not chasing. They're not begging approval. Just building their community as a black community, protecting, saving, and moving forward. And if that truly becomes the next direction, then I think America may have to learn a very important lesson. Never take people's loyalty. Never take black people's sacrifice. Never take, black energy, black time, black, power for granted. Because eventually, even the strongest people can decide, this time, you handle it. So, something like that. So, I don't know what's your take in this video. I think it was funny discussion, realizing that, black people withdrawing, other people are like, no, what exactly is happening? So, anyway, I don't know what's your take is. Let's discuss down in the comments below. I love that you came to watch the video. See you next time, and I'm proud of you.